So this is the candelabra that we're going to make. We'll start at the bottom here and work our way up to the top, and then we'll do the arms last. The equipment you will need is a piece of paper or a piece of card to put your beads on, a pair of everyday pliers. You also need some small sheets of paper or post-it notes. This is just to make it easier to identify the beads because they are very close in size. So take each piece of paper and on one piece write 4mm, and then write 6mm, 8mm, 10mm, and finally 12mm. Just pop those to one side for a second. You will also need a pen or a pencil. It doesn't have to be sharp because you're not going to write with it, you're just going to use it to twist around later. Take your packet of beads and sort your beads into sizes. As you start to sort your beads, you will see there are lots of, about 4 or 5 different types of clear crystal beads, and this is why we need the post-it notes so that we can remember each size. So you might want to pause your video now and sort out your beads. So once you've sorted your beads, I'm just going to do a quick count. So you have 2 pipe cleaners, 1 piece of wire, you can put those to one side for a second. You have 4 of these tube beads. Put those to one side. You have 4 orange type coloured pear-shaped beads. Put those to one side. None of these need a post-it note because they're easily identified because there are only a few of them. You then have 5 flower beads. And you have one that's like an elongated diamond. Then if you take your remaining beads and sort them in sizes, you will have 5 different sizes. So the really tiny beads, these are 4mm. Take the sheet of paper you wrote 4mm on and slide those beads onto that piece of paper and pop those on one side. Next, take the sheet of paper that says 6mm and slide the next size on. So just as a quick check, you should have 34mm beads and 10 6mm beads, and place those on one side. Take the next size of crystal bead, and that is an 8mm bead, and place that on your piece of paper that says 8mm. Your next one is 10mm, and that's the next size. And then finally you have one large acrylic crystal bead, and that's your 12mm. So throughout I will be referring to the size of the beads in millimetres to make it easier for you. So take your wire and uncoil your wire and place both ends together. Take a 4mm bead, and these are your really tiny ones, and place that in the middle of your wire. Next, take both ends of your wire and take a 6mm bead and pass both ends of the wire through the bead and pull down so that it sits firmly on the small round one at the bottom. Now take your one 10mm bead and place both ends through the 10mm bead. So we'll just do a quick recap. There's a 4mm bead, a 6mm bead and a 10mm bead. So place your wire down for a second and take your pipe cleaners. Just straighten pipe cleaners first of all. Make sure your ends of pipe cleaners are together, and we're going to fold those in half, and it's important that you get these exactly in half. These are going to be the ends of the arms of the chandelier. Take your two pipe cleaners and just open them slightly, and you're going to take your wire, split your two wires, and you're going to place one pipe cleaner over one wire and the other pipe cleaner over the opposite wire. Now the next step is important that you get these as tight as you can so the arms of your chandelier will actually stick out rather than flop. So take your two wires and pull slightly down on your pipe cleaners so that you can get a good grip and twist about 4 or 5 times so you can get them really tight. And your pipe cleaners should stick out. If they're hanging down and they're very loose, it's not tight enough. Okay. You're going to carry on now, and we're going to continue up the chandelier. So we've just added the two wires on here. I'm going to carry on to the top of the chandelier. Just take the ends of your wires and just cut a little bit off if they're uneven, so that they're nice and level. Makes it easier to feed through the beads. Next you're going to add one of the flower beads, and these are with the petals going up. You'll notice that that's the back and that's the front when the petals go up. So place that, both wires through the flower. Next place your 12mm bead on the wire, followed by your 8mm bead, the elongated diamond bead, a 6mm bead, followed by a 4mm bead. So just do a recap from the pipe cleaners. You have a flower bead, a 12mm bead, 8mm, elongated diamond, 6mm and a 4mm. Next you're going to take your pen and you're going to place your pen about 1 centimetre from the top of the last bead, and you're just going to pass the wire over the top of the pen, and then you're going to twist the two wires that have gone over the pen onto the main body of the chandelier, and twist those quite a few times. The tighter you can get these, the firmer the arms of the chandelier will be. I'm just going to trim those pieces off. If you want to tighten a little bit more, you can twist the pen a few times and that will tighten the stem even more. Take your pen out and we're now ready to complete the arms of the chandelier. So now we're going to work on one of the arms of the chandelier. We'll complete one arm and then we'll repeat that on the other arms. So you need a 4mm bead, followed by a 6mm bead. You now need 6 4mm beads, just to recap, we have 1 4mm, 1 6mm, 6 4mm beads, one 6mm bead, a flower bead with the petals going upwards, a white tube bead, followed by one of the pinky orange pear-shaped beads, and you're going to place the widest part of the bead next to the white tube. Take your pliers and just gently give a little tug so that the beads are all tight against each other, and then just bend the top over so it's against the top bead. You can use your pliers or your scissors to push the bead down. So that's one arm of our chandelier. So I'll just do a quick recap. It's 1 small 4mm, 1 6mm, 6 4mm beads, 1 6mm, 1 flower, a white tube, and then a pear-shaped bead. We're going to repeat that process for the 3 remaining arms. So you might want to pause your video now and rewind till you've completed all 4 arms. So we've now completed the 4 arms of our chandelier. If your arms aren't sticking out straight and they're a little bit loose, just put your pen back into the hole and twist a few more times and you'll tighten it up. Okay, put your pen in the top, hold the bottom and then twist and you'll start to feel it tighten up. We're now going to bend our chandelier so that it becomes a nice shape and actually looks like a chandelier. So take your pen or pencil and you're going to place your pencil next to the 6mm bead at the start of each arm. So place your pen or pencil against that bead and you're going to push down and at the same time bend the arm of the chandelier. I'm going to repeat that again. So it's at this 6mm bead. You're going to push the bead down against the body of the chandelier and bend the arm up. I'm going to do that for all 4 sides. And then you can just rearrange so that they look even. I'm just going to put another twist in the top because it has come a little bit loose. So when your chandelier is tight, remove your pen. There you have your chandelier.